One of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened to me as an actor happened on the set of Grey's Anatomy, and it was horrible. Let me tell you why. I also have an audition today, so I'm going to be putting on makeup while telling you about it. So when I first moved to Hollywood from Philadelphia, I tried to do a lot of background work and non-speaking roles to get on some big sets of movies and TV shows just to see how a set was run and how the real good actors actually acted. And I always tried to get everything right, and I always tried to be the first one ready whenever the production team needed somebody to do something. And while I had been yelled at before by a director, George Clooney, on a different set, I just wanted to be a go-to guy. And up to the point of me telling the story, I had also done a few episodes of Grey's Anatomy, just very small, like walking in the background, not really getting to do anything prominent, like really in front of the lens. So on this specific day, in this specific episode, the hospital had just blown up. It was a few seasons ago. So we were doing an overnight shoot. So there were lots of fire trucks and police cars and about 200 non-speaking parts, extras, in addition to having that season's full cast there, including Dr. Grey herself. And this episode was actually being directed by a cast member that I'd worked on other scenes before, Debbie Allen, who plays Jesse Williams' mom. Anyway, I guess because they're a little familiar with me, they're like, hey, why don't you kick off this scene? The camera will start on you. The hospital's just blown up. So there's going to be ambulances, fire trucks, police cars, all crisscrossing. We've already coordinated that. We just need you to push a gurney to Dr. Grey to start the scene across all of this chaos. But like, we've worked with you before, so we know you can do it. And me being the eager new guy, I always said yes to everything, including, George Clooney yelled at me for not smoking a cigarette correctly because I never really smoked a cigarette before and then failed to do it on camera. So anyway, the director, Debbie, gives me all the directions, tells me when to start, how to do it, how to like crisscross through some of that chaos, and then we'll just get the scene. And we needed to try to get it in one take because this was an overnight shoot and it was very, very, very expensive, and there were also a lot of people there who had spent a lot of time coordinating it. So she does one final check with me, she says, you got it? And I'm like, yeah, of course, I've been in Hollywood, like 3 weeks? I can do pretty much anything at this point. So right as Debbie's about to say action, a different person, some kind of assistant director comes up to me, he's like, hey, we just thought maybe you should actually like not go the exact time Debbie told you to go. Maybe we should go like a little bit later, and like Debbie will be totally cool with it. So I was like, yeah, cool, yeah, let's do that. Debbie then says action. So I follow that other guy's advice and leave a little bit later, and there's chaos. 2 cars almost hit each other. People are diving out of the way of the ambulances. The cast is absolutely horrified. Debbie screams cut, and she runs at me, seething. What are you doing? Did I tell you to do that? And I was like, no, that other guy told me. And she's like, was that me or was that the other guy? And I was like, the other guy, Miss Allen. I need a breath at this point. I should not have used blue here. So Debbie says, I'm going to give you one more chance, but it's going to take us about 20 minutes to reset all of this stuff. So they reset. She says action, and she's standing behind the cameraman who's actually has the camera like right here by my face as we're weaving through the crowd and all this chaos outside of the hospital that's blown up. And I get the gurney to Dr. Grey, and I glance back now that I'm off camera, and Debbie's staring at me, and I'm like, oh no, I messed up again. But then she smiles, she gives me a wink, and she gives me the most fun pat on the rear, very appropriate, not inappropriate, very appropriate pat on the rear, and gives me the biggest smile, and then another wink. And I felt like the best actor in the world who wasn't speaking in that episode. And that was one of the days I decided I'm not doing non-speaking roles anymore. I need to be getting paid and saying lines if I'm going to be getting yelled at by directors. Also, I didn't have an audition today. I just put this makeup on just to get you guys to watch the end of the story. Thanks.